Hello everybody and welcome to the July 2025 update from Clydebridge station. This is the first update to be edited on my new laptop, so there might be a few small changes to the production. There is of course a very big change. As you can see here, this platform has come up, and this one will be coming up too in the some months update, because the plan this month is to get rid of these old platforms and put new ones in. The stuff has already been ordered from Scale Model Scenery and is here, and so I'll be starting construction of that today as I film. That's going to be the main purpose of this month's update, a look at the construction of the new platforms. I'm also going to try and remove this building here, because I've actually got something else that will go in there in its place, but it'll probably take a spacing around there or possibly here, but we'll come to that later on. Towards the end there'll be the usual shout outs to other people and other layouts, and before we do get underway as well, if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell icon so you can be notified of when new videos appear on this YouTube channel. There's at least one per calendar month. So it's time to get underway with this month's update. If you're all ready, all aboard and enjoy the programme. And any comments, queries or suggestions, please leave them in the comments box below. When I was building the previous platforms, they were a rushed job. I didn't get things right and they just looked horrible in the end. Platforms 1 and 2, which you can hopefully see below the junk, I took my time with and got them built properly. That's what's going to happen with platforms 3 to 6. They're going to be built properly. There are a few howevers. The first however is that I don't know how well the camera picks that up. I need to weigh that down a bit so it can get glued down. That's the first however. The next however is I need to get all of this chipping up as well. So that's the next however. The third however is that I can't put in any station signs etc. until I've got the ballast laid in the station. And that's going to be a long time before that comes. Towards the end of the year, platform 1 might actually get some ballast put in, and we'll see how it goes. So there's quite a lot of howevers to be dealt with here. These old station boards are going, because I've got new ones from Scale Model Scenery which I've took my time in building. I've built them properly. That's the first one in place. The platforms will be to the same style as these two here, and links to the stuff that I've used from Scale Model Scenery will be in the description below. There's a departure board I'm going to be building, and that's going to go in here. Again, that cannot go into place until I've got the all the platforms built and this area built. So it's really like a giant jigsaw puzzle, and you can't put in one piece until you've got another piece already in. The main thing I've got to do is to weigh this down. That can be done at any time, and it'll need wood glue to go in there and be weighed down. That'll then allow the platforms to be level as much as possible with the concourse area. So what I'll do is I'll go and get the stuff that I'll need for this platform rebuild. It won't be built in here, it'll be built in the other shed, the big shed, but what I can do is film it from there and at least let you see what progress is like. And I'll be doing one at a time, so it'll be this one here, and then off camera it'll be this one. And it won't be put into position until it's fully completed. This is the kit that I'm going to be building initially for the long sections, the full width ones. This is the Long Island straight platform, Lima X-ray 402 Oscar Oscar. Now it comes with these. It gives you a chance to make two sections. The equipment you see here, by the way, that's from my neighbours. They're getting a new shed built, so it's temporarily in here. Two pieces there and all of this here. Now, in building this, it does state that you would need laser cut kit glue, which I've got here. You also need Yoo-hoo glue for applying the sections here on. This is the top bits of the brick which should go on here. The other thing is that they show you here putting on the actual assembly here, and they've got the texture wraps. Now my tip for you is not to do the top pieces, which are here, which is what the surface is going to, until later on, and that's how we'll do it. There's a very good reason why I'm doing it this way, and that's because it'll hide a lot of the joins. That's why I'm doing it that way. The most important thing to do is to take your time with this thing. It's a lesson I should have learnt many years ago. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm doing what David Watson done. I'm going to pour some laser cut kit glue onto there, and I'll be able to spread that along with a cocktail stick to the pieces that I'm going to be building up. You release the platform sides and the braces, and then glue the sections together to form a big H, and make sure that the arrows on them, and I think you can just see one in there, are pointing upwards. You have them pointing the wrong way around, I'm afraid your item is knackered. I haven't done that, and it's a record I'm anxious to maintain. I'll get them built to look like a H, and then you'll see what they're like. There we go. So that's the first two platform frames, as I would call them, put together. You may be wondering why the sections have holes in them as well. That's for two reasons. One, and I'm not a scientist, so I'm not sure exactly why this should be the case, but the holes give them strength, make them stronger. Don't know why. But secondly, perhaps most importantly, it allows you to put cables through, or wires through, for platform lighting. So it has a double purpose. Now I won't be installing platform lighting, but it doesn't matter. They'll be joined together eventually by these. Again, there's 4 in each of the packs, and these are clips that will go at the end, and the two bits will slide together. Now, as I've already mentioned, I'll be doing the platform surfaces at the very end, but I'll be doing the platform walls, the side walls for each bit as I go. Now, there's a reason for this. If I tried to get the whole thing up like that and tried to do the platform walls, the side walls, it's going to be very difficult, but there is a wee tip that Justin Noble gave, and we'll come to that in a couple of minutes. What I'm now going to do though is start to get the platform bases, the platform wooden tops up, which will sit on there, but they are not ready yet. They need to get some brick walling put on, so we'll go and get that next. When you order your platform walls, you get a couple of sets of platform wall sheets, including ones that can be used with ramps, and you'll get a couple of sheets of the platform ledge wraps, and they will be the ones that go on the edges here. They don't get sold together with the platform surfaces. You have to order them separately. Now what it does mean is that it's entirely possible to have different combinations. Now I don't know the actual figure that Scale Model Scenery gave, but it's supposed to be a large amount of combinations of platform walls and platform surfaces. So there's quite a large number of combinations. What I'm going to have to do is cut one of these out and glue it onto here, then do the same with the other side. Then cut out the notches, which will then sit inside here. I'll test fit it first of all, and then I'll be able to glue it down, and it'll be glued down again with laser cut kit glue. Tools that you'll need: steel rule, craft knife. I'm going to use Yoo-Hoo glue as well. I'll get the cuts done and get them on, and we'll get a look at what it's like. Now, see, I'm using the TX244 Oscar, but there are other ones available on the Scale Model Scenery website, so do check, because they actually make them with different brick finishes for different areas of the country. I think they use blue brick in the Midlands, for instance. So have a look at the Scale Model Scenery website if you want to do this, and see if you can find one appropriate to your area. There we go, that's the first one on now. I've just got to get the walls applied. The observant amongst you might have noticed a little error I've made. You get 3 with slots and 1 without slots. These support joints, or what they get called braces. I should have actually put, if I'm building one platform at a time, I should have put one of the solid bases, i.e. without the slots at the bottom, inside. I didn't. Not a problem, however, because that'll do for platforms 5 and 6, so it's not wasted at all. The slots, incidentally, are for these to go into. That now needs the platform walling, which you see here, the platform walls. So I'll get a piece cut off and get that made up, and that'll go into here. However, I won't be building the tops of the platforms just yet, because obviously I'm going to do that last, so I can actually do a full run along and then apply it all in one go. You will need a lot of Yoo-Hoo glue for this, by the way. I must make that clear to you. I'll crack on and get the walling put on, and I'll maybe build another one of these, and then we can take it from there. That's the first 2 platform bases for platforms 3 and 4 in place. This is the platform surface mount. Now, I've noticed something quite interesting here, that's actually level with that, so I might get away without having to weigh it down, and then just put a strip like that on platforms 1 and 2 across them. But we'll see how we go though. I'm being very careful as well, so I make sure I've got this top in the right place, but I have run the transparent coach up and down, as you can see here, and it is fine. The platforms themselves have been joined together with those U-shaped clips, so there'll be 2 more of these to go in, and I'll build them off camera, and then what I'll do is I'll show you how we build the end ramp. Now the end ramp comes in a kit of 2, and I had obviously ordered a kit of 2, pack of 2 before, but yours truly broke one, so oops. The narrow end ramps come in a pack of 2 as well. I've ordered 2 by mistake, but it may well be the case that I might end up having to use one as a spare, so we'll see how it goes. Now, you see the little join that's just there? There's a little tip that Justin Noble gave in one of his videos where he was building these, and he'd made using a spare section of brick, he made an S-shaped part and then stuck it on. I'm going to do the same with that. Hidden from view behind the transparent train, I've already done that. So I'm going to do that here. But one other thing, these will have to be glued down in position first before I actually go ahead and do that. And that's still a long way to go yet. But it is now starting to take shape. That video that I mentioned to you, I'll put the link somewhere in the top right hand corner during this production, so you can see the expert Justin Noble do it. And word of warning folks, yes, this is the infamous one where Justin cut his finger live on air. That's the four platform sections now completed for platforms 3 and 4. This is the long straight ones. A couple of things to point out. I'm actually going to wait on the glue drying, because when I tried to put these together before, one of them come out, so I'm going to leave the glue to dry and then stick them together with the U-shaped clips. Another little tip for you, you can see here there's a bit been damaged when I was originally cutting it. It'll go like that. That way it's hidden from view. Obviously it'll get ballasted anyway. I believe that's the same on this one, maybe not. There was a wee bit of damage. Okay, I guess not, maybe. They'll get put together shortly, but what I'm going to do now is build the platform end ramps. And on these sheets here, you get one of each the platform walls for the platform end ramps. But don't throw out the bits that you don't use, because you can make these into little S shapes that will hide the joins that you can see there. The other thing as well is that because I've got a dead end terminal platform, I'll need to have a head wall at track level. And again, the likes of these offcuts will be useful in helping to construct that. Anyway, let's go and get the ramps. This is Island Platform Ramps Kit, Lima X-Ray 396 Oscar Oscar. You'll notice that it's a pack of 2, and when I done platforms 1 and 2, yes, I did have a pack of 2, but when I was building it at the first attempt, I actually damaged it, which is a very good job that I had a spare one. I must actually make a confession as well before we go any further. When we come to build platforms 5 and 6, the narrow platform end ramps that I'll be needing also come in a pack of 2, but I've ordered 2, I've bought 2 packs just for the fear that I could damage one. They are very difficult to build and they are easy to damage, so it's a real take your time job. The kit comes with the sheet 1, sheet 2, and it also comes with the parts that you put the platform texture surface on. Notice you also get a long piece here. That's going to become useful later on in the build of the platform surfaces. We will get to that later on, but that's a very useful piece. It's a very similar kit to the platforms in terms of its construction. One each of, 2 of these and 2 of these, 1 of them and 1 of those. And that's where that comes in as well. I'll go and get this built now, let you have a look at it, and then hopefully the glue should be dry enough for me to clip it all together. Oh, and you get clips with this as well. Right, here we have how the kit's going to go together. you would put that in there. That would then go onto there. Now I'm not going to do this now because I'll have to do it off camera, so I've got two hands available. And then that would go onto there. This would all be glued. I'm just test fitting this. And now, a couple of tips I'll give you. Let the glue dry for a bit longer than normal before you put your top pieces on. Don't forget to put the ledge wraps on as well, onto your top pieces. And when you come to actually test fit this, and I'll just do it like this, just be very careful and make sure you know what is what way things go. It is so easy to go and put the wraps on there and there when they should be going that way and that way. I'll get on with building this and then I'll let you see the finished product. That's that in place, and it's been glued, and I'm allowing the glue to dry. I've weighed it down a bit, although I will admit that when I come to ballast this, the PVA water mix will help adhere it as well. I test fitted this before I went and glued it down, by the way. Made sure everything was hunky-dory, and you can't quite see it, but the example here, I've got the little mark that I've made there, and that's just to help me know exactly where to place the platform bases. They'll take a wee while to get stuck down properly, and as I say, there's one or two bits where there's a gap, but as I say, when I come to ballast this, and that'll be a job that'll be in the not too distant future, the start of the ballasting, I'll be able to get them stuck down even more. We'll turn our attention to platforms 5 and 6 shortly, because there's a slightly different technique I need to use for them, but it's worth going and showing you how we make the platform tops now, the actual platform surfaces. So that's what we'll do now. This is our platform surface that we're going to be using, the Tango X-Ray 225 Oscar. Weathered asphalt with concrete slab coping platform texture. I'm going to need 4 of these, and you'll notice that they go a bit longer, the sections, than the actual 8 sheets themselves. Now the reason for that is that these sheets are also designed to be used with the short platform sections, which come to about there, I think. Now if scale model scenery were to try and make these to fit to that as well, it's going to be a lot more than A4 paper, and it's going to be a lot more costly. So what we've got here does the job. I'll cut the one section off, and then once I've got that glued on, I'll let the glue dry. That'll get added to it. This is the other side, and these are your score lines, and this is where this comes in useful as well. This is from the ramp kit, because obviously I'll need 1 and 1 for the ramp area, but they've also got this extra strip here. That's supplied because it can be used as an extra piece, as is going to be the case here, where once we've got 4 of these done, it's still, and the ramp bits, it's still going to have a little bit of a gap. So that's what this bit's for, and it can be cut to size. So it's a good idea that it's SMS I've put in there. Choice of glue for this, Yoo-hoo glue. Take your time with it, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get started, and once the 4 straight sections are done, I'll get them put up onto the platform, test fit it first of all, take it off, Yoo-hoo glue again, and get them stuck on, and it'll be the same for the ramp bits. There we go, that's platforms 3 and 4 finished. I just need to get a little tarmac strip to put on here, so that'll be done. And I've also managed to get in there, I don't know how well the camera can pick up, the platform walls on the edge at the end there, and they've been stuck on with Yoo-hoo glue. Confession time, I had to actually move these platforms just a little bit so that things could fit in properly, i.e. the trains could fit in no bother, so I've given them a quick push in there. The main problem was actually here, when I tried a locomotive in, it was almost touching the platform edge, so I had to move them a bit. When I come to do platforms 5 and 6 next, I won't glue them down, because my thinking is, when it comes to the ballasting, they'll be glued down, but I also won't glue them down initially, so I can actually test the platform surfaces on them. But I think you agree that these are a hell of a lot better made this time than what I've done with my first efforts. One little word of advice for you when you're building these: make sure you've got plenty of Yoo-hoo glue, because I opened a tube and used it, and I'm already more than halfway through the tube. So you will use a lot of Yoo-hoo glue, and make sure you can get them at the pound shop, by the way, and model shops sell them as well. Before we're going to do platforms 5 and 6, so we're going to turn our attention to something else, and that's actually down here. This is the old departures board. I will be building a new one and building it better rather than using Pritt stick. But this here, I don't know where this came from, but it was some out of a kit. And it's actually quite a good height for putting the departures board on, so it can be seen. But what I'm thinking is, I'll make something out of modelling card to about this height and to about the shape of that, and it'll sit at the bottom of the departures board when I come to build the new one, and that way it'll be clearly seen. So I don't know where they came from, but that's given me the right height for the departures board. If I'd had it on some blocks, it would have only came to about there, and that's not high enough, so it's got to be much higher, so it'll be going in there. The alternative is to put it down here, but I personally think here would be better, because that's obviously the main entrance to the station. So that's what will be happening. I'll just put that down under there, and that's what's going to happen here. Well, clearly that's a job for another day, however, to build the departures board. I won't be doing that in this episode. Now we'll get on to platforms 5 and 6. The first 3 sections of platforms 5 and 6 are exactly the same as platforms 3 and 4. The main difference will come after the 3rd section. This is the old piece here. It's still on the layout and I'll get it removed soon, but a narrow piece, what's called a half width platform section, and I have it here. Half width long platform extension, Lima X-ray 405 Oscar, there's a pack of 2 in there, will go along here. Then a half width platform ramp, whilst on this side it will be a half width platform ramp. That is really the only main difference between the platforms 3 and 4 and platforms 5 and 6. These will now get put into position afterwards. It's worth mentioning, however, that I'm going to have to work out very carefully how I'm going to do the join for the platform surface. I've got plenty of time to think about that. The half-width platform ramps are built in exactly the same way as the full-width platform ramps. You're just dealing with smaller, narrower pieces. That's all you're doing. That's what one of the half-width platform ramps looks like. I've still got to put the brick walling on there, so that will be done next. And then what will happen is it'll look something like that. And we've obviously got the half with full platform lengths to put on there, and that's going to be the next thing. As already mentioned, they're built in exactly the same way as the full width platforms. You're just dealing with smaller parts, and basically this and so that's actually what's to happen. Now I'll basically do a test build once again, but you'll see it's the exact same idea. One thing to notice about this one is that on the full width one of these 4 pieces has no notches at the bottom. On the half width, all 4 have notches. Just a little point to make there. That seems to be good to go. I'll get the camera turned off and I'll go and start building this. And then I'll test fit it on the layout. There we go, so that's the platforms 5 and 6 now in place. I've still got to do the little joins, and they'll get put into place next, just 4 of them. And I'll just use Yoo-Hoo glue on them. I haven't stuck the platforms down this time. The reason for that is I want to get the platform surfaces on, and then test again. I've already tested with the Mark IV coach, and everything seems to be fine now. The old platforms 5 and 6 used to come out a little bit longer to here. Platform 5 did, because I used 2 short narrow straight sections of platform. I've just used a standard length one this time, and as you can see it comes out to the same length as the other 4 platforms. I was a bit panicky at first, thinking that I might have actually mucked it up and had to then get in touch with Scale Model Series and order some more stuff, but thankfully I've got away with it. This bit here, as you can see, that's going to get some filler put in it, just normal filler, and that'll fill that gap up there. So as I say, these aren't glued down yet. That's the next job, is get to cover the joins there, and the head wall is done. I just need to put another bit in here. I've got plenty of this brick walling, so another bit will go in there, and then that'll be that. Platform surfaces go on, and it's starting to then look a little bit more like a station again. So that's what I'm going to do now, platform surfaces, and I will show you in this case. I won't show you me making the platforms here, but I'll talk about when I get to here how I'm going to try and sort this out, because it isn't as straightforward as you might think it is. I haven't quite got an idea myself as to how best I'm going to do this, but there is one possible plan, and that possible plan will involve a spare one of these, and here we have one. In fact, here we have a lot. As you can see, I've got 3 here, so that's just enough, and I've got another 2 here. Now, these are from the Long Island Street platform kit, the Lima X-Ray 402 Oscar. What my cunning plan is to start this time at the ramp ends of the platforms and do the surfaces there first. Then do the surfaces from the buffer stops out. That way I'll have a gap in the middle. Well, not quite the middle, but you know what I mean. And I'll then be able to use a spare one of these, measure it, place it, and get it measured into the right size, and then have a piece of platform surface put on that, and then put it on top and glue it together. So that's what my plan is. That's the first 3 sections of platforms 5 and 6 surfaces laid down, and you can see it's the big sections. The gap here That'll be filled in, as will that be by what you can see just at platforms 1 and 2, so that's a simple job. You may not be able to see it, I don't know how well the camera picks out, so let me just zoom in a bit and you'll see I've got an end ramp played on platform 6. The plan is obviously to get as much as I can done with the end ramps and the narrow bits. I want to get everything off nice and flush. The stuff you see weighing down the big sections and out is going to be used to weigh down the smaller sections, particularly platform 5, because it has sprung up a bit. So UHU glue will be put underneath platform 5, the bits will be put on top, and then it'll all get weighed down with this stuff. Now, as you're watching this right now, by the magic of YouTube, you're only going to have to wait a few more seconds to see the completed item. I'm going to go and have some lunch first of all. It's been an enormous project, that. I'll tell you what actually puts my mind off in the railway. The period of time during 1989 when the Haymarket South Tunnel between the Mound and Haymarket Station into platforms 3 and 4 was closed for engineering works. They were putting in concrete paved track. Short services had to start and terminate at Haymarket, with passengers on the Shorts line having to change at Haymarket onto through services into Waverley. Services from the West Coast Main Line had to go round the Edinburgh South Suburban Loop, which must have seen the most intense passenger operation on it since passenger services were withdrawn in the 60s. And everything else had to go through platforms 1 and 2. Oh, and by the way, if you were wondering, that was a great thing for train spotting during that period, because you saw quite a few services going through and stopping, having to wait on a clear run into Haymarket, stopping at the eastern end of Haymarket North Tunnel. But anyway, I digress on that. But it has been quite a little while. I have run the TransPennine BG up and down here, and these are absolutely fine now. Yes, the clearance is a little bit wide, but I've also went and made the concrete sections there. What I've also decided to do is get these bits glued down just here as well, so that the platform bits are in place. To do this bit, quite an interesting story, so let me explain to you. Instead of using the normal ramp pieces, and this actually applied to this piece too, I used one of the spare bits of full width platforms and actually cut it to shape and size, and then bent it into position, marked it where I need to have the wide part to go over to there to hide as best I could ugly joins, and then got it down there. So it's actually the whole one piece. So I didn't use the scale model scenery bits supplied with it. Platforms top but supplied with the kit. I've actually made my own bit out of it, something else. Well, platforms 5 and 6 are now done. Obviously there's a lot of things to be still getting done before all the street furniture can be put on the platforms. For here at number 6 platform, what I'm thinking of is putting a little wall here, and this would be vegetation, and maybe a little wall, and maybe a little wall here. I'm going to try and look at that and make a wall and have it coming along here, and then here one of the warning lights. Let me get a spare one. I've got the now, and I would solder it to the track and sit it there so it can still be seen as a warning light against a black background. I would actually paint the wall, the bit wall there, black, and difficult to see with the sunlight coming in, but that's what it would certainly look like, and then the lights would be clear on there. So that's actually, that's another job that I'll do, not in this video though. What I'm going to do is go and have a can of juice, have a sandwich, let that dry, and then once it's dry I'll come down and I'll have a little running session, bring a couple of trains in here. Now that'll take about half an hour to dry. You'll just have to wait not even half a minute. So if you do want to wait half an hour, then just pause this video now and go and pour yourselves a nice cup of tea. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little running session there. It's good to get the trains back running again, and I'll be getting the track cleaned in the next few weeks off camera. And you'll have noticed a few Celebrity 47s there. Unique Trans Pennine liveried 47475. Brunswick GWR Brunswick Green liveried 47484. The scruffiest locomotive on my fleet, 47706, don't say I didn't warn you. And at the buffers, the only 47 in Swallow livery to carry the Intercity tin name plates, 47844, and the only 47/4 to carry the Blue Striped ScotRail livery, 47461. So that's where we're actually up to. Now, still to come in this programme, there's going to be a start made on putting some ballast down on platform number 1. The reason for that is the weather's actually quite warm. It'll help the glue dry quickly as well. So that's still to come. And I'll also have the usual shout outs at the end of the programme, including one for a band called Wooden Dog. More about them later. But first of all, here's a preview of the Cooper Model Railway show. The 2025 Cooper Model Railway Show takes place once again at the Corn Exchange in St Catherine Street in Cooper on Saturday the 19th and Sunday the 20th of July, 10 AM to 4:30 PM both days. Admission is £7 for adults, and kids go free when accompanied by an adult. And by the way, the postcode for the Corn Exchange, if you're putting it into a sat nav, is Kilo Yankee 15 for Bravo Tango. But I would say to you that there's some car parking, free car parking just nearby. There's various trade layouts going to be there, and trade stalls rather, including Scooney Hobbies and Billy Thompson Trains, although please note these are subject to change. 18 working model railway layouts are here in different scales, and I've got a list of them here for you. O gauge, you've got Smallburn, Lochnagar, Fiddle Yard, Dalmarnock Wharf, Rockvilla, Boxwell C, compact double gauge demonstration layout, and Ronald Road, which is a Thomas inspired layout. It doesn't actually list the actual clubs or societies or people exhibiting these, but N gauge, you've got the ever popular Parsons Creek, Leven Bank, Glenralph, and Ronchafen. For those of you who are fans of the big O gauge layouts, Hill Park and East Road will be there. HO gauge, Michaeler Platz, and Z gauge St Adrian, both of them foreign based. Garden Railway scale, you've got the Glendevin, and for young and old kids, there's also the Lego Railway. There's as I say already, there's a little refreshment stall that's going to be there as well, so you'll be able to hang around for a couple of hours and also enjoy a nice cup of tea as well with it. I shall be at the show on Saturday the 19th of July, so please come and say hello to me if you do happen to see me. It'll be a privilege to meet you, and I'm hoping on the Saturday evening to have a report from the show up on this YouTube channel. There's a few items you'll need for putting down ballast. Not all of them are shown here, by the way, but anyway, let's go. PVA glue, a juice bottle with some water in it if you're working in a shed. Even if you're working just up in your house, you'll need a jug. Don't go and use your wife's brand new one, for goodness sake. By the way, you can get these cheap out of discount stores. Now you can use a syringe, or you can use a dropper bottle to put the ballast down onto the track, but what I would say is use a syringe to fill the dropper bottle up, which is what I'm going to do here. Morning Fresh washing up liquid I've got here, but other brands are available. You just use a little drop of that to help penetrate the ballast when you're putting the glue down. The ballast itself, you can't ballast without ballast. And a spreader, you can get your own track spreaders. I'm going to use instead a little plastic container that covered one of my road vehicles. I would also recommend a small screwdriver, because you can use that to clear ballast off the inside of the track. And once the ballast dried, you'll need track cleaning fluid or a track rubber. That's what you'll need. And in regards to the water, although I've got two water butts, you can see one there, I would recommend you actually use a tap in the house to get water out of it. It'll look much better. The thing about water out of water butt is that over time it just stains a bit. 50-50 is what to go for. 50% PVA to 50% water. A little drop of washing up liquid. Give it all a good mix in there, and then you'll be good to go. Now, syringes are available from like the Boots of Chemist, and you can put it down like that. The only problem with syringes is that if they get stuck a bit, it can blast out suddenly, and then it blasts the ballast everywhere. So I would recommend instead using a little dropper bottle like this. Now Jim down at Skinny Hobbies gave me this one, and you would just do it like that, and it's one of these that I'm going to be using to spread the ballast along, he says. Well, a lot of stuff you do need to do ballast in. This would have been the top cover of one of the vehicles that would have been like that, so I'll just get shaken about like that. You also need a wee paintbrush, and what that will allow you to do is to just spread the ballast along a bit. Don't rush your job. Whatever you do, do not rush your job. Do a little bit at a time, and then stop for a couple of minutes, do another little bit. So that's what I'm going to do now, and then I'll show you what the finished result is like. There's plenty of videos out there about ballasting, so I'm not going to bore you to death and show you how to actually do the damn stuff, but there's plenty out there. The expert David Watson has shown you in the past, and I would urge you to heed his advice. One last thing, doesn't matter where on the light you're doing this, make sure the power's turned off. That's the ballast in, and the glue is in place as well. I've only ballasted up to here because beyond here I can't do anything, as I've got like some walkways to put in, and I've a signal gantry to put in as well. So there's all sorts of various things that I have to do first before I can even think about going any further with ballasting. So that's why I've only done up to the end there of platform 1. It's quite warm, so it should dry within a day or so, and I may need to go and touch up bits of it. But if I do need to touch up bits, it's dead easy. I'll just put a wee bit more down and then let it dry again. Once this is fully dried, I'll run over it with some chalk cleaner, a screwdriver again just in case there are any little bits of ballast, and then I'll use an old coach to run along this platform here just to see what everything's like, and then I'll bring in the push-pull train, which usually sits in platform 1, and we'll see what it's like coming into platform 1. Hopefully all should be well. There is of course a small matter of them putting down detail in here, which will be like sort of sleeper grime, an oil spill kit at one end, and then I've got things like litter to put on there as well. That, along with putting wires in, dummy wires of course, for the lights, is a job for next month's update, not this month's update. It'll take a few days before I'm back at the layout, but you'll just have to wait a few seconds to see what it's like. Well, that's what it looks like with a train in. Because of a technical fault with this locomotive though, on the day that this video is going live, it'll be getting away to get checked, but because of a technical fault with it, it's not running properly at all. That's not running at all now, and I also tried to take the couplers out, the pipe couplers, and it actually led to me causing damage to the underside of the carriage. In the end pocket, the spring come out totally, so this is going to get replaced, and I'm going to buy new Bachmann normal couplers, and to hell with the pipe couplers, that's what I'll say. But anyway, I've managed to push the train in now. It was working fine for a bit, and then it just stopped working altogether, so I don't know what was going on with it. And initially the controller was playing up too, but all the other locomotives are working. Anyway, back to the topic in hand. That's what it looks like with a train in. Clearly the ballasting is only one part of the job. I've got to now put down an oil spill kit at this end and a little bit at this end, and weather the track in between and put litter onto the track as well. Also next month, as I say, I'll be putting some brown cable which will be painted black up and along here. It's a dummy cable, and it'll be basically, it's like this, but it's only, I'm going to paint it black, dropper wires, and that'll be the electric cable to power the lights above the advert hoardings. There's still a lot of other work to be done. I've got to get the clamping stones down onto the end of the retaining wall there. That's an easy task, and these are small jobs that I'll do next month. I did encounter one little problem. It was this buffer stop. You could see it's not quite sitting in right. The lesson I've learnt there is when I come to ballast other platforms, leave the buffer stops in place. I've made my life a little bit hard there with a buffer stop that, as you can see there, is very loose, whereas these fit perfectly. So a little lesson I've learnt there in life. However, I'm quite happy with how things have progressed with the station platforms 3, 4, 5 and 6, and also the ballasting of platform 1. To finish the programme this month, it's the shout outs. It's now time to do the shout outs, and as usual I'll be doing a couple of shout outs for non-railway layout people as well. And please bear in mind that I've been trying to, where I can, start to give layout up shout outs to N gauge layouts as well every now and then, even though I'm 00 gauge. Well, the first layout shout out that I'll give you this month is to a mate in Northwich, Trevor Stubbs. He does lots of live videos from his local, from one of his local stations, Acton Bridge, but he is also building an N gauge model railway layout set in the Virgin West Coast era, before the Pendolinos come along. If you check him out, please, on YouTube. Also, I'll give a shout out to Cheeky Tech. You may have heard of him actually before here on YouTube. I'm sure I've given him a shout out before, but if you give him a check out too, he's quite popular with quite a large number of people, so please go and check him out. And Wessex and West is set in the same era as my layout, and it's set on the fictional location on the Cornish main line, the West of England area. So if you're wanting to model a West of England area, this is a good layout to actually go and check out. So I would recommend you check him out as well. One more layout that I'm going to actually give a shout out to right now, and you know, this is a male dominated hobby, but that's not actually it's not the case. It is just males who are actually involved in the hobby. I'll give you a lady. She has her own layout, again set in the same era as mine, the BR sectorisation era, and her channel is called Farcam90. Now, of particular interest to me was a video where she built a Tullis Russell wagon. Tullis Russell, now defunct, was a paper mill located here in Fife, in Glenrothes, and it actually was located on a branch just off the main line at Markinch. The line, the Auchmuty branch, is closed in 1992, and the line has now been lifted. But I would certainly say to you to give Farcam90 a shout out. She's got very good videos in there. The videos are short, but I'll tell you, they're very interesting. So give Farcam90 a shout out, please. And it's good to see women get in the hobby. It's about time that we had that happening. Now we're going to get a couple of non-model railway shout outs for you, and this month I'm going to give two bands a shout out. Both bands have a lead singer who is also the lead guitarist, another guitarist, a bassist, a keyboard player and a drummer. The first one I'm going to give a shout out to is a band from Birmingham, and they're called Wooden Dog, and you'll find them on Instagram and Facebook. I've put a link in the description below to their Facebook page, so I would certainly urge you to go and check them out. As I say, they're called Wooden Dog, and they describe themselves as a folk rock band, and having heard a couple of their tunes here on YouTube and watched some of their videos as well that they've got on both YouTube and Facebook, I can say to you right now that they are a very good band indeed. And I would also say to you right now that you might want to start asking them if they could come to Scotland. Be good to see if they could come in up to Scotland. One of the tunes I really like about them is called Black and Grey, and they've done some done a session recently for a radio station in Birmingham. The link should be in the top right hand corner for you to go and check that out. And the other band that I'm going to give a shout out to this month is called The Revival. Now these are teenagers from Plymouth, and they have done quite a few gigs. They're on Instagram as The Revival dot. Okay, that's the name. And you find them on Instagram. I'll put the link to their Instagram in the description. And if you could go and check them out as well. Same as Wooden Dog, they've got a drummer, a lead singer who's their lead guitarist, a bassist and a keyboard player. So go and check all of them out, please. And that brings to an end this month's update. I've already told you that next month we're going to be doing work on Platform 1, and I'll provide an update on what's happening and what's wrong with this loco and this, and hopefully we'll get a replacement for this carriage. Unless it can be fixed, of course. Just before that, of course, it's the Cooper Model Railway Show taking place at the Corn Exchange, and there'll be a video from that. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start up doing some more modelling idea videos for you. And hopefully one of these should be coming up at the end of July, possibly the week after the Cooper Model Railway Show. Basically what I'm going to be doing is, in this case it's not going to be a location, an actual real location as a modelling idea, but an intercity train that might have been. It was a proposal Intercity were looking at back in 1989. It never got the go-ahead, but today's Virgin Voyagers were probably a similar idea. But anyway, that'll come hopefully at the end of July. Coming up on screen in a few seconds will be a link to another video, a link on the right hand side to the playlist. There'll also be a button in the middle for you to go to my channel and subscribe, and please, I would very much appreciate it if you could do so. Subscribing is free of charge, and there's and everything is free to air, like what sport should be on the television. Hopefully I don't purchase anything at the Cooper Model Railway Show, but you never know what these stalls are like, do you? But anyway, if you are at the Cooper Model Railway Show, please come across and say hello to me. It'll be a privilege to meet you. I'll see you either at Cooper or at some point towards the end of July for that modelling idea, or for the August update. In the meantime, whatever you're doing, please do take care of yourselves, won't you, and enjoy your layouts, and I'll see you soon, and I'll leave you with the sight of platforms that are now operational. Please take care of yourselves, won't you? See you soon. Cheerio.